Hello peoples! Today we'll be preparing the engine to finally replace our old timing belt, as that is over 9 years old. Seeing as there are quite a few parts which need to be replaced anyway, we decided to remove the coolant reservoir because it's in a pretty bad shape. The steering pump, as that makes an awful noise.
Ooh, steering pump.
The alternator, well, because it's pretty much dead. And the serpentine belt, some coolant hoses and the thermostat. Now let's dig right... Oh wait, we found yet another little surprise, so stick around and find out.
Oh, it's loose.
Alright, first things first, we need to drain the coolant system before we can remove the reservoir and some of the hoses.
Looks like water.
Well, if it has been water for 7 years, 9 years by now, then that flush will probably be a good idea.
Yes.
Now with the coolant drained, let's remove the reservoir and some of the hoses.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to replace. Good way to start the day, right?
Well, if we're gonna replace that, we might as well replace the coolant temperature sensor.
Okay, that's out. What are all these sounds today here?
Next up, we decided to remove the serpentine belt.
Wat ga je doen?
Make a drawing. Steering pump, tensioner, crankshaft, airco pump, alternator.
A walk roll.
Alright. So then it goes from the pump to the walking roll, to the alternator, to the airco pump, crankshaft, tensioner, and around the pump.
Nice.
In order to release the tension on the serpentine belt, you need a special tool from Volvo. Or make the special tool yourself and just call it that.
Now take off the serpentine belt with a special tool inside that tensioner. Then you can give it some slack and then it should come right off.
Yeah, thanks Volvo. Crusty.
Yeah, that needed to be replaced.
With that out of the way, we turn our attention to the steering pump. First thing to do is to suck out the old fluid from the reservoir, and then remove the return and high pressure hoses from the pump, and lastly remove some nuts and bolts on and from the brackets and the pump itself.
If there's anything in there, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of darkness.
Ooh, pretty dark. Should be red. Well, it has some kind of red to it. Let's put a bakje eronder. Oh.
Wow, without spilling anything. Now get that thing out of there.
Skillfully, man.
Those skills, dude. So now next up is the high pressure line of the steering pump assembly. That's the one we need to loosen up.
So if you're just replacing the steering pump, you make sure nothing from the oil goes into the alternator. Let's get the bakje. Well, there's no room for a bakje. So you don't want that on a new alternator. First get rid of this bracket, I guess.
Yep.
Yes, and we can restore this bracket also.
Yep. Hello kitty. Bye kitty.
What? So we'll take this coolant hose off for better access, because the coolant is already drained.
It has to come off anyway, because the thermostat is hidden behind there somewhere.
Everything is getting dirty.
They keep me mowing the front lawn. That's good.
We have a lot of numbers on this hose, so we'll order a new one.
Definitely. Well, now that we're in there, let's just remove the thermostat and then, well, lovely DIY bracket.
It's maybe a good idea to get some new bolts for it.
Yep.
Alright, the other bolt.
There comes that thermostat housing. Right, let's take the thermostat out.
The gasket, solid as a rock.
Yep, so there's one remaining bolt for the steering pump. Right, that's that bolt out. Now, that should come out. Are we missing another one? Yep.
It does align. Would be nice if we removed all the bolts.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Maybe we should check Haynes more often. But it's fun to figure out ourselves. At least I find that fun.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. Right, now it should come free. Yes, that's it. So that's something we're gonna replace entirely. Right, next up, we need to remove that tensioner. We just saw that it's a lovely condition that it's in. Yeah.
So let's get rid of that.
Now, the next thing we need to remove are some more brackets and the alternator. But before that, one of our viewers, who by the way drives a lovely V70R Classic, tracked us down and really wanted to come by and take a look at our project up close. After having some great conversations about our 850 project and his V70R, Pete mentioned he brought his OBD2 reader, and that was an opportunity we couldn't pass by. So after letting the OBD do its thing, we found out that we have almost exactly 100,000 kilometers more on the clock. This could mean one of two things. The odometer gear was or is broken, although there is no mention of this in any of the documentation we have, or the odometer has been rolled back. Now, seeing as it's almost exactly 100,000 kilometers, it's suspicious to say the least. Whichever it is, of course, we'll have to fix that. So Pete, thanks for helping us out and sharing a great deal of knowledge. Now, let's remove some more brackets and the alternator. We couldn't find one of the bolts on the alternator, so we moved the idler pulley first to see if it's hidden behind that.
Alright.
Hey, I see thread. Maybe it's from the other side. Yeah. There it is.
Oh, that's loose. Right, that's out.
Well, I want that out.
Oh yeah. Got him.
It's a boy. I think it's dead.
Probably. So in order to maintain the right timing, you need to put back that plastic cover. And then we gotta lift up the car so we can turn the engine freely and then line it up.
Solid as a rock.
And now, so it's a matter of turning the engine and lining that up.
That seems to match up.
That line should match up with with that notch, yeah. And the same goes for that line. Needs to match up with that notch. And then they already did something here. They marked that and the white part over there, so that's the same over here. They also marked that when they replaced it in the past, so
that's good to know.
Yep, that's all lined up.
Let's
good.
See the crankshaft pulley. So there.
Let's see if we lined up everything correctly.
Engine. Well, that's a coincidence.
So, I mean, that's lined up. That's lined up. You got that right. Then there's that marker. Yeah, that's what we were trying to show.
That's very hard to see.
Yeah. Just need to remove that timing belt guard plate on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. Alright, so we only got an hour left. So we're gonna leave the timing belt for now. We don't want anything rotating without the belt on it. So we're gonna do some cleaning on the brackets that hold the steering pump and alternator in place. And maybe giving a little paint to that big metal part, and then, yeah, let's do that first. Right, so that's looking a lot better. The thermostat housing is a little cleaner.
And we put some rust converter on the metal bracket so we can paint that the next time. Alright, and we prepped the engine so we can replace the timing belt, and that is all we could do today. So thanks for watching and see you the next time.
Tschüss.